What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the madness. And we've got another breakdown. We got week 3. We got 11 events that we're going to go over. And do we have a new meta king? That's kind of the question. There's going to be some cool conversion rates. We're going to talk about regional differences, but someone broke through. We might have a new meta king, but let's jump right into it. This is going to be a bit of a doozy, but buckle in. We have a lot of information, a lot of meta talk to go over, and I think it's going to be a good one. So first up, we have our top 8 breakdown. This is a total of 77 decks across 30 events, each event having more than 30 people. All right, that's kind of the caveat to get into this list. It gives us a better breakdown, things like that. So first off, though, we're just talking about the color pairings, and then of course in the next slide you're going to see the breakdown of each color pairing. But Amber Steel just going crazy. 22 Amber Steel decks across 11 events, and of course this is going to include a couple different varieties, but still Amber Steel showing that it is ready to rock and roll. And I'll let the cat out of the bag now. Every single one of these Amber Steel lists had Rhino in it. Okay, so Rhino, apparently it's a good card. Apparently Rhino is a card you want to play if you're playing Amber Steel. But next up, we've got red blue. All right, red blue, red purple, and blue purple or blurple. They're really kicking butt, right? They're 11 decks making top 8. That's really impressive, especially because red purple kind of came out of nowhere. Red purple, we didn't see a lot of it in week 1. We saw a little bit more in week 2, and then now week 3. And I imagine that's only going to get up more and more. I think these 3 are only going to get up more and more, especially red blue and red purple, as they find more ways to handle the aggro of Amber Steel, but also the meta just slows down a little bit more. And red purple, it's been, I mean, honestly, it's been one of the best decks for the longest time, and none of the cards left, right? And then it got some cards that can kind of help grind things out, handle the aggro, things like that. Next up, though, we do have green purple. This is a mixture of discard and tempo. Green purple still showing up. Normally green purple is one of those lists that after week 1, it kind of dies off like aggro, but now with those levers and those other things, it can kind of stick around a little bit more. We've got some purple steel coming up. If you guys remember last week, I think we had 1 purple steel list in top 8, if we even had 1. And then down here, we've got green steel. All right, green steel decimated the meta last week, and then now this is kind of what we see. Green steel does really well, and then it just starts to die off because people, I don't know, it's like every set people kind of forget what to do against it, but they also play a little bit more greedy because they're testing new things. So that's when green steel can really shine. But the longer the meta goes on, the easier it gets to answer green steel. And then the games that green steel wins are typically those high roll games. And that's not all of them, right? Get out of here. Not all their games are high roll. There's a very good ceiling for the green steel skill level, but when you see things like red blue and red purple and blurple really kicking off, all decks that counter green steel very well on top of amber steel, sometimes just having the cards they need to counter green steel as well, if they get off that one whole new world, green steel just kind of loses. So when you see these lists up top, you're going to see green steel go down even more, especially when green purple also just does, even purple steel also just beats up green steel. So it's just not a good, it's not looking like a great meta for green steel. They're going to have to rely on those really tyrant turns of that Diablo into shift Diablo into the Storm Rage on or the Prince Johns and so on and so forth. You guys know what it is. But next up, GA. I don't know what happened with my colors here. I didn't notice it till I was done with all my graphs, but this is green amber, right? So it is green yellow. We got 2 decks making it top 8 this time and 1 blue steel. All right, banning Fortisphere and Hiram was not enough for blue steel to disappear, and you guys will see that. You guys will see what happens with it in a little bit. But let's talk about next. We've got the breakdown, okay? So Amber Steel breakdown. We've got 9 on Rhino Aggro, 9 on Traditional, 4 on Diggy Diggy Hole making top 8. Red Purple, we've got 10 of them. 10 of the 11 on the Evasive package. That's the Maui Half Shark and Pirate's Life. 1 on the Control package. That means no Maui Half Shark. That means no Pirate's Life. They're going back old school with the bounce packages and the goats and the locations, the Tremaines, things like that. The green-yellow breakdown, we've got the dogs, right? The Churna dog list, the aggro list, and then we've got the discard list. spoiler alert, the discard list won first in the event they were in. So not a lot of cards changed. It still does the same thing. It's still a great deck. And when you see that green steel is dying down, green yellow discard only gets better, right? And it counters Blurple really well. So we'll talk about it more. We'll get there. All right. Green purple, we've got 4 on tempo and 3 on discard. Okay, so showing that tempo is a force to be reckoned with for sure. And then on the red blue, a good mix here. We've got 6 on the item variant and 5 on the burn variant. Next up, purple steel, 5 on tempo, 1 on aggro. And essentially I considered it tempo if it has Zeus. Okay, if I saw Zeus, I called it tempo. Yeah, and that's kind of how I did that one. So here's your breakdown of the different archetypes. And then next up, we have the top 4 finishes. Okay, so we saw the top 8s. We saw the top 8s with this massive amber steel number. And then now if we look at the top 4 finishes, we see amber steel with 5, 3, and then 2. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So not even half the amber steel list made it up to top 4. And then when we go back to this list, traditional and rhino both on 9. And then look at this, rhino on 5, traditional falling all the way to 2 though. And then we've got our Diggy Diggy Hole on 3. So 4 out of 4 of the Diggy Diggy Hole list, 3 of them actually made top 4. Then we've got our Red Purple Evasive with a really good conversion rate. Red Purple Evasive right here on 10 going down to 7, making top 4. We've got our Blurple on 4 coming down from 11. So not the best conversion rate at this point, but you just kind of see how things go. The blue steel, unfortunately, didn't make it any further. We've got 1 purple steel going on to top 4. We've got the dog list in top 4 and the discard list in top 4. The 1 red purple control still in it, still in that top 4. Red blue items only 2. So is the red blue, is the DKP version, is that burn version going to be a little bit better? It's still hard to tell because, well, spoiler, you don't have any first place finishes with red blue burn, but you do have one with red blue items. So take that as you will. And then green steel discard only 50% making the conversion to top 4. That's down from a lot. I think last week there was a 100% conversion rate, if not a little bit lower. Maybe 1 didn't make top 4. But then when we go to first place, that red purple evasive, 4 out of these 7 taking first place. Green steel discard, 2 of them taking first place. And then we have our purple steel aggro, purple steel tempo, green purple tempo, green yellow discard, and red blue items. So no amber steel taking first place this week out of 11 different events, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So something to be said there, but green steel definitely falling off. Green steel dominated the first place finishes last week, and they're just not doing it this week. Probably because the red purple evasive, that is a tough battle for this green steel discard, where they have to see that entire discard package going into it, and then hopefully they can get lucky and Ursula a B prep on turn 2 because the red purple player got unlucky. So yeah, this is our top 8, top 4, and first place. This is the list that shows conversion rates overall. We got our top 8 total right here on this one, top 4 here, and then the conversion rate of top 8 to top 4. And then we have our conversion rate from top 4 to first place. Huge shout out to my buddy Vince. We'll talk about him more later on, but he built this. He made it more pretty for me. So I really appreciate that. Just shout out to a lot of people who kind of helped me make these graphs and give me ideas. But Blurple, just again, huge showing, right? Blurple had the best overall top 8 finishes, but they just fell off so hard. Then we have the evasives with the 70 into 40, really good. That conversion rate being really good. Of course, discard though, the one ofs kind of kind of messes up. That's not the right word, but that kind of messes up, the overall conversion rates when there's only one ofs. But, you'll take it. Congratulations on your 100% conversion rates here. But yeah, you know, not bad. You have your green steel discard with a 50% to 33% only. You know, so overall, conversion rates for some of these decks, pretty good. Do with that as you may. Move on to Mulligan TV. All right, Mulligan TV, our first up on here. I believe this was a live streamed thing, if I read some post correctly. But Mulligan TV out of France with 114 players for their event. And this is the breakdown of their top 8. Amber Steel Traditional, Diggy Diggy Hole, Discard, Red Blue Items. Well, you can read. All right, so this is their top 8 breakdown. So keep this, and overall, a pretty wide top 8 breakdown. You're going to see this across a lot of different events where the top 8, it's a lot of different stuff. And I'm curious to see if, as we go further into it, week 4, 5, so on and so forth, if that variety kind of narrows down, right? Because as the meta decks really start shining, as the deck builders really show up and say, hey, this is what beats the meta kings, this is how you do it. And if we end up only seeing 2 or 3 decks making top 8, and that's not something that's super uncommon for these big events, like 114 players. But taking first place, we have Glim Crow on Green Steel Discard. One of the 2 Green Steel Discards to take first out of the 11 events this weekend. More of a kind of the tempo version, right? We're only on the 2 muses. And as the aggro list slowed down, i.e. we didn't see any Amber Steel aggro without the Rhinos, and that's the real true blue hyper aggro. You can kind of start getting rid of these muses. I do find it really interesting, only 2 Ursulas. I think Ursula is one of the strongest cards in Green Steel, if not the strongest card in Green Steel. Diablo is super important, but if you miss Diablo on turn 1, it's not the end of the world, because then you can go Ursula, you can see the hand of your opponent, then maybe you can go Morph into Beast the next turn. Just so much knowledge and capability out of Ursula. But we are on 4 Prince Johns instead of 3, and so that number is a little bit different as well. But then we do have our Tinkerbells, which feel great into aggro if you can get those down on Morph. The 3 chips, Chip, from what I hear from discard players, just continues to excel. That getting that body down, forcing your opponent to discard a card, it feels good. So you can go Prince John on 3 into a chip on turn 4, and you don't have to sing it. You get a body down, so now you have that something that can trade, because Prince John's never trading into anything. So the chip just continues to excel, and I think we're going to see high numbers of this as time goes on. Still only the 2 Beyond Horizons. That's something we've seen since week 1, and I don't think we're going to see more than that. 2 seems to be what the meta's decided, and seems to fit really well for Green Steel. So good job, Glim. Really good showing. Next up, we've got the Upside out of the United States with a 32-player event. Another wide showing, but Red Blue Burn really taking off. Two in the top 8, and then another wide showing. We've got 2 different discard decks, green, purple tempo. So like I said, that regional, I'm just going to cut that part out. But we've only got 2 Amber Steels in this one, and then one of the red, purple evasive. So looking at first place finish, though, red, purple evasive. All right, so again, you're going to see a lot of red, purple evasive, because it just has a lot of the stuff that you need to beat up on aggro decks, to beat up on discard, to beat up on any red blue that pop up. Looking at this one, he's teched pretty hard to beat up on aggro. We've got 3 brawls, but also 3 teeth and ambitions. And this one's pretty cool, because what can happen is, let's say you play Diablo on turn 1, you could play Teeth and Ambitions on turn 2 to take out your Diablo, and then take out your opponent's Cinderella, Baby Rhino, the Diablo, something like that. But also later on, maybe turn 2 or turn 3, you can use Teeth and Ambitions to boost your Queen of Hearts to take something out. So that's something as well. Meanwhile, we do have the Hades coming in. Hades being able to draw you cards really well. So we're running 2 of those, which I think is the sweet spot. But one thing to note, if you guys haven't noticed it yet, there's no Be Prepareds in this list, all right? So how sad would Baker be if he was casting this match and had no opportunity to sing, because there is no Be Prepared. So he's completely relying on trying to control the board through things like Queen of Hearts and Teeth and Ambitions and Brawl to be able to just get the board that way and not have to retake it later on with something like Be Prepared. Meanwhile, only 1 Peter Pan, which is really unique as well for these red, purple, evasive decks, because normally you're going to go Peter Pan on turn 3, into Iago on turn 4, or Genie, and then you Maui, and then you Maui, right? So doing things like that, but we're not running Iagos, and we're not running a lot of Peter Pans. Instead, we have this super heavy package to be able to control aggro lists. We have the package down here, and then we have the grind with the Hades, but also this list just keeps getting better and better because no Pirate's Life. So you're running these Maui Half Sharks, but you don't have Pirate's Life, so you're really just kind of hoping to bring back more friends on the other side, brawls, teeth and ambitions, and ultimately, this is red, purple, evasive. Maybe I need to change the archetypes to maybe red, purple, APL, and red, purple, control, because this is a very red, purple control list. He took first, and what's crazy is he took first into something where there's 2 red, blue DKPs, which, when you don't have Pirate's Life of your own, I could see that being a really challenging matchup for this list overall. So, really good showing. An incredibly unique list by Iva, but really love it. This is unique, man. This is really, really unique. But next up, we do have I'm going to call them NJDS. All right, there's 2 events put on by NJDS, making top or over 30 players this week or last week. This first one out of France, 158 players. And looking at it, we've got red, blue items with 2, red, purple, evasive with 2, blurple, amber, steel, traditional, amber, steel, rhino. And taking first place, we have FLT Virage with red, blue items. All right, when we look at this list, it's your typical red, blue items list. We've got the annoying sapphire coils with the baby Sizu and the big Sizu. We've got a lot of different items, the 2 Vitalospheres, which I think is just an incredibly important item for you to, T-Bow can start taking things out. You can Vitalosphere the Scrooge McDuck to take out so much, almost anything. Takes out Rhino, takes out, some certain locations, things like that. 2 B preps and 4 Sizu, so a lot of that really big, wide removal package. A lot of uninkables, but you are on 2 Fishbone Quills, 1 Great Stone Dragon to help with that. So the list just does red, blue item things. Overall, we're on 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 21 items overall. You're running the 4 brawl, so a lot of Diablo hate, a lot of aggro hate there as well. So there's a reason that this list would do so well. If you're seeing a lot of aggro, if you're seeing a lot of green steel, once these red blue items decks get down the Maurice's Workshop, even just one, it can be really difficult for green steel to come back, because now they're going to be able to Maurice's Workshop, they'll find another one, now they're drawing 2 cards for every item, and it's only a matter of time before they see that B prep, before they see that human Sisu that just removes your board. So if you don't have that hidden cove down, you're in a really bad position if you are green steel. So red blue items, red blue's only going to get better. They banned Hiram, but it's, sure, it hurt the deck. It's not tier 0 anymore, but the deck is still really good. So congratulations, Virage. And moving on, we've got the Hungry Dragon out in the United States with 60 players. And look at this right here. Blurple, 3 of them, 3 Blurple players in top 8. And then a really healthy variety again of a bunch of different decks in top 8. And taking first, though, red, purple, APL, right? Red, purple, APL, Pirate's Life from Eddie Martinez. And this is a little bit more like what you'd expect from a red, purple, evasive deck, right? You have the 1-drop into the Cusco on 2, the Peter Pan into the Genie or Iago, getting up there to the Maui Half Shark. You have the 1 Hypnotic Strength to beat up the other, Iagos. So I bet this came in handy against those Blurple, the 3 Blurple decks that were there. 2 Pirate's Life. Normally you see 3, but I think 2 is fine as long as you're not forced to ink one. Ink 2 of them, right? You'll be fine. So you really don't want to see any of them early to kind of keep you from having to do that. Only the 2 B preps, you have enough to clear the board, but opting to run a couple other things like the 1 Hades, the 1 Medusa. So trying to keep those uninkables. as low as you can when you're running 8 right here. So in total, you're running 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 uninkables. But when only 3 of them are higher cost, I think that's okay. Because you do have a lot of draw still. You still have the Diablo, Broom, Cusco that are pretty much always drawing you cards, 2 Finders Keepers, 4 Friends on the other side, and 2 Libraries as well. Then meanwhile, you also have the Lumiere to just really screw up math. You slam that Lumiere on 2, then you go Genie on turn 4, and that Genie can't be brawled now. Like, that can be really annoying for people to deal with as well. And it also gets things out of Medusa range like Hades. So that can be really effective as well. So really good showing, Eddie. Showing the red purple evasive is not going anywhere anytime soon. Next up, we've got Safari Zone Collectibles, and this one's really exciting for me. I'm sure you see it in the top right corner all the time. This is my home store. They had their first 5K, all right, 94 players overall. My buddy Vince judged it. It was his first big judging event for Lorcana. He killed it. I do want to remind everyone, because this was a big issue, I guess, when you play Arthur, you don't get to have your draw step, all right? But you know, huge shout out to Vince for opting to judge for the event. And then huge shout out to Angel at Safari Zone Collectibles for putting on this 5K. She already announced the next 5K. For this 5K, she said it was a 5K. She had less than 100 people. She still hosted the 5K, and it was great. Top 8 split the prize. They each got $500 and then played it out for the last like $100-ish. So, but prizing went out to top 16. It was a great event. I think they ran 4 win a box pods, but it was awesome. All right, it's going to be. But we have some more to talk about. Green Steel discard. Okay, out of 6 that made top 8, 2 of them that made top 8 were at Safari Zone Collectibles, and then a really healthy variety of top 8 as well. So let's talk about this. We got my boy Aaron Guy with the green purple tempo, and I was really happy for him to see this. You know, one thing that we talked about before the event is he's like, hey, what version of green purple do you think is the best to beat up green steel? And he was choosing between a list similar to this or similar to a discard package. And ultimately I told him, like, hey, if you want to beat green steel, like, the Peter Pans are the way to go. And they are. Peter Pan is just a really good way. Green steel has so many great cards to beat up, green purple has so many great cards to beat up green steel because that Ursula 2 drop. Ursula 2 can't do anything to your hand. If you get rid of the Bruno, maybe you keep the friends because you really want to, but if you go Diablo on 2 or shift Diablo on 2, you get rid of the songs if you're against green. So there's just not a lot of interaction that green steel can do with your hand to kind of stop you. But you can stop them in a lot of different ways. And eventually you get something down like Ursula. You have these levers to help. Hypnotic Strength gives something Challenger +2 as well as Improvise. So it just does well, and it did really well for him this weekend. So really happy for him. He's an amazing human being, one of our locals, and I was really happy to see that he was able to take it home with green purple, which he's loved for a long time. So actually I have a video of him beating me with beating me with green purple on my channel. I think I uploaded it. But yeah, really great guy. Congratulations, man, taking first at our first 5K. Next up, we do have Playing Ducks in Germany with 70 players. Again, healthy variety of top 8. I love to see it. The meta is so open right now. But what took first place? PD Bennett on his green yellow. And from what I understand, PD Bennett, this is what he's known for, is just playing green yellow and doing really well with it. And I think the thing about green yellow is the deck has barely changed in like 3 or 4 sets. So if you've been someone, apparently like PD Bennett, that's been playing green yellow through thick and thin, you're going to do really well with it, especially when the meta is so favored for you. And when we see a lot of these greedy decks coming out, when we see green steel going down, it's going to be a great time for green yellow to really shine. And it's a very special deck. This deck, you have to be willing to play very slow. You have to be willing to have long games. But if you do, the deck can be extremely rewarding. And now you run things like Tramp that can help you search for those cards you really need. You have Chip for the extra discard that we talked about earlier. Like, the deck is just good. It's been around for so long with pretty much the same package for so long because it's a good deck. Like, so congratulations, Bennett. If you enjoy green yellow, I think now is a phenomenal time for you to try green yellow. And if you never have, I think now is a phenomenal time to try green yellow. Just again, remember, you got to be patient when you play this deck. If you are not a patient person, this is not the deck for you, okay? That's my one warning, okay? Moving on, though, we've got Conflux out of Germany with 59 players, and we've got Purple Steel Tempo and Amber Steel Traditional taking the most represented in top 8, and then a couple of others, again, wide variety. Taking first, though, we have Vies 1, maybe. It was out of Germany, so Vies 1. I'm sure you guys will let me know. But if we look at this, we've got this Purple Steel kind of tempo list. Again, if it has Zeus, I call it tempo, and it is a little bit all over the place, and I really love this. We see the 2 Magic Brooms, again, really good into green steel, and you guys saw that this weekend. But Magic Broom, it's a 2/3 green steel, can't remove it very easily. They can't shift Diablo on 2, seeing Let the Storm Rage on to remove it, so it just sticks around, and when they shift that Diablo, Magic Broom just takes it out. One thing that I thought was really interesting, this Lena Saberwing Evasive, deal 1 damage to chosen character. It's just a 1/3. Yeah, I don't know exactly what. Honestly, I really don't. I really don't know exactly what you're trying to do with this. I guess. Oh. Deal 1 damage to. No, I don't think that ignores Rhino. Does it ignore? I guess this is my question for all of you, okay? For all the judges, I'll reach out to Vince. For all the players that know, deal 1 damage to chosen character. Is that the same as like Bell moving damage? Does that ignore things like Rhino's resist? Okay, I don't think it does because you're dealing a damage. But let me know, okay? Otherwise, we do have Panic down here. When you play this character, you may move up to 2 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character. So you could play Lena Saberwing, deal a damage to something, and then play Panic to move that damage counter to something with resist. And then if you move it to Rhino, that's a big deal because now he no longer has resist. So maybe that's the combo we're doing here. Meanwhile, we do have the Robin Hood shift package. We'd have this Genie that coming in here, Genie, 3/4, also really beating up on Evasive, really beating up on the Diablo, but Diablo and Cove. But also, if you have Genie down and Lena Saberwing, you can take out the opponent's Genies because you can deal 1 damage, then take it out with your Genie. So there's another combo piece going on. Meanwhile, 3 Strength, 3 Zeus, 3 Rabbit, and 4 Doc. So lots of draw going on. So kind of a toolboxy Purple Steel list that has a lot of cool interactions and a lot of cards that you just wouldn't be prepared for if you were playing into Purple Steel. So congratulations, man. Really, really cool list. Moving on, though, we have top 8 out of Supercharged in Germany at White Rabbit Community Game Store with 53 players. Unfortunately, their top 8, the only lists available were 1 Red Purple Evasive and 2 Blurples, and taking first place is Red Purple Evasive. All right, this is the very typical Red Purple Evasive list. We see the 4 Peter Pans, we see the Peter Pan into the Genie or Iago, and then we get to our Maui Half Sharks, our Pirate Scythe, seeing that 3 again, seeing the 4 Be Prepared, the 2 Medusas. I don't know. I'm a bigger fan of Tremaines right now, personally, but Medusa is still being phenomenal, being a 4/4 that trades really well, taking out a character that might not want to exert themselves, things like that. You got your phenomenal draw package going on here. Just a great list that we've seen do really well last set, and we're going to see it do really well this set. No new cards added. None of these are set 7. Yeah, no set 7 cards because you just don't really need any. And because the list just does well, if you get that one drop into the Queen of Hearts, into, if the crab, if you really need it, or Peter Pan to set up next turn, you're in a winning position. So next, congratulations, TSR Makoya. I'm sure that's super wrong, but congratulations, man. Next up, though, we do have Charlie's Collectible Show. They had the 11K this weekend with 250 players. And looking at the top 8, look at that. Red, blue items, 3 of them. Green, purple, tempo, 2. And then a healthy variety down here. So really good showing. But red, blue items in the United States, 3 of them. That is... if you guys are wondering where the meta might be going. But let's look at what won it. We all know what won it for the most part, and that was Christopher Baxter on this purple steel list. And this is something that we've seen before. When green steel is really popular, we see kind of this Magic Broom Yin Sid package come out. And it's good, right? This is a very purple steel aggro list. This is a list that is built to beat up on amber steel aggro. It's built to beat up on green steel aggro. Those are the really big ones. And then just what's happening here, we also see we saw some kind of green purple aggro last week as well. So when you have something like Fire the Cannons, it beats up on Diablo and the Flynn Riders, it beats up on the Shift Lines. So really good. You have this Yin Sid here. So against red blue, if you need to, if you go Magic Broom on 1, Yin Sid on 2, and then Magic Broom on 3, you have that Piglet effect. So Yin Sid's questing for 3. So that's really good as well if you need that. But also drawing a card is also amazing. That helps you beat up the green steel players even more, because you go Magic Broom, you go Yin Sid. Now you play Magic Broom again because of the evasive to beat it up, but drawing that card with Yin Sid helps beat up their discard package. So, and then you have just the heavy reach. You have 4 Cobras, you have three goats. So a lot of reach here. So it's just a good list. You have the bounce package when you're running 5 bounce cards, so you could bounce Pete a couple times against Amber Steel. It's a good, tight purple steel list. You're not running the Calhouns. Instead of Calhoun, though, you're just opting to really try and beat up on those evasive Diablo decks. So congratulations, man. Something a little bit different, showing that purple steel, along with, I think it was Vice earlier, purple steel is here. It's going to do some nasty things. Doc is pretty good. Doc Fox, pretty good combo. Moving on, though, we have CCS. This was their 2K, and this is their top 8. We did not have all the top 8s, okay? For this one, not all lists were posted, but one thing I do want to point out is green blue. Green blue did make top 8. It wasn't in my first initial graph because I had built all my graphs, and then as I was building this slide right here, I saw that the green blue list got posted, so I did add it in here. So these were our 5 lists that made top 8, and no, I'm not taking first place at the 2K with red purple. So yeah, he's back on red purple. He kind of left it behind for a little bit, but he's back running the one new card, the Hades. Again, Hades just really good into those grindy matchups. You were running the Ursula, which Ursula is great for, giving Challenger +3, but the other nice, or Challenger +2, but with Ursula into Crab on 3, you can take out the opponent's Rhino, which is really nice because your opponent, the only way they're going to be able to get rid of Ursula and stop this combo is if they sing Zeus with that Rhino, and the aggro decks don't really run Zeus, so that Ursula's probably living, and then they're going to Merlin Crab the next turn, and then now they're in a really good place because you spent 2 turns to play 1 card essentially, and now it's gone. And now they go Peter Pan into this package, and they just have so much time to just completely control the board and then sing Pirate Slice. So they win with 20 and you lose with 0. So congratulations, though. I'm not really good showing. I'm glad you're able to get that comeback from day 1 and take day 2. Congratulations, man. Finally, I believe this is the last one. We got NJDS number 2. They had 2 events this weekend. Top 8 running 2 blurples and 2 purple steel tempos. And taking first place is Green steel discard, unfortunately. No, good for you, green steel discard. So looking at this list, this one's a little bit different than the green steel that we looked at earlier. In this green steel, we're only on 2 out of 3 chips, and then 3 out of 2 muses, and 3 out of 4 Prince Johns. And when I say out of, I'm referring to the list earlier, but also only 1 hypnotized. So we are a little bit lower on the discard package overall. Opting to go a little bit more control of the muses. We have the beast draws coming in. The 2 beyond the horizons, that has not changed. We're on the 2 beyond the horizons. So Tyzakos, congratulations on your first place finish with green steel discard. It's still a good deck. When you see that really great line, nothing can really beat green steel. And if you're just a good pilot of it, it's going to take you places. Another deck you need to be a little bit patient of. You need to understand the lines, because a lot of players, when they don't see the God start, they just kind of lose. And it takes a good player to understand how to play green steel and win when you don't see the God start, because regardless of how you feel, it doesn't happen every game. All right. So congratulations to anyone who does win first with a green steel discard. So ladies and gentlemen, we do have an honorable mention. I did want to mention this list. They didn't win first, but it deserves to be mentioned because it's one of my favorite types of decks. It's green blue, and I love green blue. There's just something about it. Playing green blue is like solving a puzzle, okay? Shout out to Coffin, right? He's the first one who said that, and I think it's so true. Every game you win with green blue, it feels like you've solved a 5,000 piece puzzle, because you're favored into nothing and you feel unfavored into everything. And it just feels good when you win, all right? It feels really good when you win. And green blue, with Fungus making top 8 at the CCS 2K, running 3 Basils, which is awesome, 3 Donald Ducks. So really just trying to ramp super hard, get to the Clarabelles, get to the Basils, start controlling the board that way. Meanwhile, you have the Muses bounce package. You have the Mother Gothel. When you play this character, you may return an action card from your discard to your hand. Really good, all right, because let's say you get the Grammatala down, the Muses, you seeing how far I'll go to bounce something. You're welcome, to bounce, remove something and bounce something. They draw 2 cards. Then you play, the Lady Tremaine. So if you did sing How Far I'll Go, you play Lady Tremaine the next turn. Now you can sing How Far I'll Go again to ramp even more. Empty your hand, play a bunch of cards, play the Clarabelle, and the rest is history. Like, I love green blue. I think the deck's so much fun. So it was awesome to see Fungus on it. I think we saw it on the live stream on the 11K as well. So really good job. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our video. All right. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know how you feel about the graphs. They're fun to put together. They do take some time. So if you have ideas on how I can make them better, definitely let me know. All right. If you want me to speed through them more, maybe let me know, or spend more time on them and give more insights into what the graphs mean. Let me know. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, if you did like it, I'll say the thing. Give me a like and subscribe, maybe. All right, just yeah. But remember, nothing matters more but staying happy and healthy. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you around. All right.